There's a lie that almost everyone accepts without question. The idea that being a good person is enough to succeed in life. From a young age, people are taught to believe that the world automatically rewards kindness, honesty, and good intentions. But just observing reality for a few minutes reveals something disturbing. The most prepared often surpass the most talented. The most disciplined surpass the most intelligent. And those who understand true human nature usually dominate those who insist on living only on idealism. This is an uncomfortable truth. And perhaps that's precisely why almost no one wants to talk about it. Now imagine an uncomfortable question. What if the greatest danger in your life wasn't failure? What if the greatest danger was spending decades believing you're in control, when in reality, you're being driven by impulses, emotions, distractions, and habits you don't even realize? Most people don't lose their lives all at once. They surrender them little by little, one day to procrastination, another to fear, another to the need for approval. And when they finally look back, they discover they traded their potential for comfort. They traded their strength for convenience. They traded their freedom for small, instant rewards that never truly satisfied them. Machiavelli saw something that remains frighteningly relevant today. He understood that the world does not belong to the most hopeful. It does not belong to the most virtuous. It does not belong to those who live waiting for justice. The world belongs to those who develop the ability to act when others hesitate. To those who master themselves before attempting to master any circumstance. Virtù and fortuna walk hand in hand, but fortuna rarely favors those who live enslaved by their own emotions. And it is precisely here that most fail. Not for lack of intelligence, not for lack of opportunities, but because they never learned to govern their own mind, their own body, and their own desires. This video will not present a typical motivational message. There will be no empty phrases about believing in yourself. What will be explored here is much deeper and much more dangerous. A philosophy capable of completely transforming how someone views suffering, discipline, sacrifice, power, and freedom. A philosophy that can make a person extremely difficult to manipulate, intimidate, or control. But it also demands abandoning comfortable illusions that most prefer to preserve. Because there's a silent choice happening right now. To become stronger than you ever imagined you could be, or to continue allowing the world to shape your decisions without you even realizing it. And the most unsettling part of this choice is that it's already being made every day, even by those who believe they aren't choosing anything. If something inside you awakened while listening, don't ignore that feeling. This channel isn't about videos. It's about memories. Remember who you were before the fear, before the exhaustion, before the silence. Each new video here is a different reflection of your own soul. An invitation to understand what the world never taught you. The power you seek outside has always been within you. If you feel that this journey speaks to what lives silently within you, sign up now. Not to follow yet another creator, but to reconnect with something the world tried to make you forget. Because here, every word was made to heal, each reflection to awaken, and each video serves as a reminder. You are not alone on the path back to yourself. Click on subscribe and turn the algorithm into a daily reminder of who you really are. Many people believe that life will reward good intentions, hidden talent, or untapped potential, but reality often works very differently. In Machiavelli's view, and that of any attentive observer of human nature, the world rarely awards prizes to those who only promise themselves that they will do something great someday. Most people live surrounded by small comfort zones that seem harmless. A few more minutes in bed, one more series before bed, one more excuse to postpone what should be done today. And the problem isn't a single isolated habit. The problem is that these small concessions shape a personality incapable of withstanding pressure when it finally arrives. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, teaches exactly that. It doesn't matter who someone believes they are. What matters is who keeps moving forward when the environment ceases to be favorable. That's why so many seemingly intelligent individuals crumble in the face of relatively common difficulties. They spent years training comfort, not resilience. They trained distraction, not focus. They trained immediate pleasure, not long-term building. And when fortune changes direction, they discover they never developed the invisible muscle of discipline. Virtue and fortune go hand in hand, but fortune rarely smiles on those who have spent their entire lives running away from their own challenges. Imagine a blade being forged. It doesn't become sharp because it was protected from fire. It becomes powerful precisely because it has withstood extreme heat, repeated blows, and a constant process of refinement. The same happens with any man or woman who wishes to build an unwavering will. Machiavelli observed that rulers who isolated themselves from difficulties ended up fragile, dependent, and vulnerable when inevitable crises arose. The same principle still holds true today. Someone who chooses to wake up an hour earlier to study, even without the will to, is strengthening something far more valuable than knowledge. Someone who maintains an exercise routine on difficult days is training much more than just their body. They are teaching their own mind that willpower has authority over comfort. The end justifies the means when the goal is to build character, because the voluntary pain of today avoids the obligatory pain of tomorrow. Choosing one's own suffering doesn't mean living unhappily. It means taking command before life takes it for you. It means deliberately seeking out difficulties, engaging in uncomfortable conversations, learning new skills, taking on greater responsibilities, and walking towards that which causes fear. And there's a silent reason for this. The greatest battles never happen outside. They begin within the mind, in a territory where almost no one realizes the real war is about to begin. Most people believe their greatest enemies are outside themselves. They blame the economy, competitors, lack of opportunities, luck, or even the behavior of others. But upon closer observation, an uncomfortable truth becomes apparent. Most defeats begin within one's own mind. A comment provokes anger, criticism generates insecurity. A dissenting opinion awakens the immediate need to react. And so, without realizing it, thousands of people spend their entire lives being controlled by impulses they believe they control. Machiavelli deeply understood this aspect of human nature. His observations on power always stemmed from a simple principle: he who cannot govern himself will hardly govern anything else. Decisions based on true human nature require recognizing that emotions don't disappear simply because someone wishes they would. They need to be managed. Fear will continue to exist. Anxiety will continue to appear. Social pressure will continue to try to influence choices. The problem is not feeling these things. The problem is allowing them to take control. This is precisely why so many talented people remain stagnant. Not because of a lack of ability, but because they constantly react to the world instead of consciously responding to it. And those who react all the time surrender their power into the hands of circumstances. A strong mind functions like a well-protected fortress. No thought should enter without being examined. No emotion should take control without being questioned. Great strategists understood this intuitively. Machiavelli admired leaders who treated their thoughts like soldiers under command, not like rulers of the inner kingdom. A simple practice can completely transform this dynamic: the conscious pause. When someone receives a provocation, criticism, or unexpected news, instead of responding immediately, they pause for a few seconds. It seems like a small thing, but this space creates a distance between impulse and action. It is in this interval that freedom is born. A person who masters this skill ceases to be manipulated by haste, fear, or the desire for approval. Better to be feared than loved is a phrase often misunderstood. Before any external application, it begins internally. The mind itself needs to respect the authority of the will. Otherwise, each emotion transforms into a different ruler vying for the throne. The calculated use of force also manifests itself here because not every battle deserves to be fought, not every offense deserves a response, and not every opportunity deserves to be pursued. True calmness is not passivity. It is power under control. It is the ability to remain firm while others panic. And when someone finally learns to close the gates of their mind to destructive influences, they realize that there is another equally important territory waiting to be conquered, their own body, where willpower will be put to the test in an even more concrete way. There is a huge difference between possessing a strong body and being ruled by it. Most people never realize this distinction. They believe they are making conscious decisions when, in reality, they are constantly obeying the commands of comfort, laziness, immediate pleasure, or the relentless pursuit of approval. If the body asks for rest, they stop. If it asks for distraction, they give in. If it asks for instant pleasure, they abandon plans that took months to build. Little by little, without realizing it, they become servants of their own flesh. Machiavelli saw something similar in politics. He observed that a ruler incapable of managing his own household would never be able to manage a state. The same principle applies to anyone who wants to build true strength. The body should serve the will, not the other way around. This does not mean disregarding health or ignoring one's own limits. It means understanding that discipline is the ability to act correctly, even when motivation disappears. In an era where many train only to show off results on social media, few realize that true physical strength has little to do with appearance. The appearance of virtue may deceive others for a while, but it does not deceive reality. An impressive physique means nothing if the mind remains enslaved by impulses. A man may appear strong in the mirror and yet be defeated by a simple temptation or a destructive habit he has never been able to control. Imagine a skilled warrior preparing his weapons before battle. He doesn't tend to his sword because he worships it. He tends to it because he knows he will need it when conflict arrives. The body should be treated the same way, as a powerful tool, not as an altar of worship. Those who understand this begin to see exercise, disciplined eating, and healthy habits from a completely different perspective. It's not just about gaining muscle or losing weight. It's about developing the flesh's obedience to its will. A simple example illustrates this. When someone decides to run on a cold morning, even without any desire to, they are strengthening much more than their legs. They are training their ability to act despite discomfort. When they choose to study after a tiring day, instead of seeking easy distractions, they are building mental resilience. Virtù and fortuna meet precisely in these invisible moments that no one applauds. Constant adaptability means preparing before adversity appears, because one day losses, failures, betrayals, or difficulties may arise that cannot be resolved with motivation alone. In those moments, the disciplined body transforms into a silent reminder that willpower has won battles before and can win again. And interestingly, the more someone learns to command body and mind, the more they realize that there is another decisive element separating the strong from the weak, the ability to let go of what holds them back when the time comes to move forward. One of the most subtle differences between strong and weak people lies not in intelligence, talent, or luck. It lies in what each is willing to lose. Most try to build a life without sacrifices. They want to grow without abandoning old habits. They want to prosper without giving up distractions. They want to achieve something extraordinary while maintaining the same behaviors that keep them ordinary. But reality rarely works that way. Machiavelli understood that every achievement demands some kind of price. In politics guided by reality, not by ideals, there is no room for the fantasy of winning everything without sacrificing anything. Strong men consciously choose their losses. Weak men spend their entire lives trying to avoid them. And ironically, they end up losing much more. They lose opportunities out of fear. They waste time through indecision. They lose potential because they cannot abandon what no longer serves them. Excessive sentimentality, when it takes control, becomes a strategic disadvantage. Not because emotions are useless, but because they often try to preserve situations that should have already ended. How many people remain in toxic environments, destructive friendships, or mediocre routines simply because they've clung to what's familiar? The problem isn't a lack of capacity for growth. It's the inability to let go of what hinders growth. Imagine a commander preparing his army to cross a mountain before a decisive battle. The journey will be long, difficult, and dangerous. So he makes a strategic decision. He discards all unnecessary baggage. Not because he despises his resources, but because he understands that carrying excessive weight can cost victory. The same happens in life. The end justifies the means when the goal is to eliminate everything that weakens the journey itself. Some people need to sacrifice hours wasted on distractions. Others need to abandon relationships that drain energy. Some need to give up the constant need for approval. Others need to sacrifice the image they have built to become who they can truly be. Machiavelli observed that the most effective leaders knew how to make difficult decisions before circumstances forced them to do so. Michelangelo said that his art consisted of removing everything that did not belong to the sculpture hidden within the marble. True sacrifice works exactly like that. It is not self-punishment. It is not gratuitous suffering. It is refinement. It is removing excesses to reveal strength. It is cutting away what is superfluous to strengthen what is essential. The fewer invisible chains someone carries, the freer they become. And the freer one becomes, the harder it becomes to predict their movements. After all, those who have learned to detach themselves from almost everything begin to develop a characteristic that has always caused discomfort among observers. They become impossible to read completely. Few people realize how much of their own lives can be predicted by those who observe them closely. They wake up at the same time, react the same way to criticism, demonstrate the same emotions in response to the same stimuli, and repeat the same patterns for years. Over time, they become open books. And an open book is easy to read, anticipate, and manipulate. Machiavelli understood that excessive predictability is a weakness disguised as a virtue. Many confuse consistency with rigidity. They think that always being the same conveys strength, when in reality, it can reveal vulnerabilities to any strategic observer. Decisions based on real human nature show that predictable people have visible buttons. Just press the right button to provoke anger, fear, vanity, or insecurity. This is why so many individuals end up being manipulated in relationships, negotiations, professional environments, and power struggles. They freely give away their patterns to the world. They reveal their intentions too early. They show their emotions unfiltered. They inform exactly how they will react to certain situations, and, without realizing it, they give others a detailed map of their own minds. True strength doesn't require living in hiding or becoming a character. It only requires learning to protect what doesn't need to be exposed. Not every strategy should be announced. Not every emotion should be displayed. Not every thought deserves to be shared. Machiavelli stated that a ruler needed to be both lion and fox, strong when necessary, cunning when convenient. This combination remains powerful because it prevents people from forming a simplistic view of who is before them. Think of a silent predator in nature. It doesn't spend the day roaring to prove its strength. Its presence is enough. Its unpredictability generates caution. Its discretion generates respect. The same happens with individuals who develop emotional and strategic mastery. They don't feel the need to justify every choice, explain every move, or announce every objective. Constant adaptability means changing when reality demands change, without being trapped by the need to appear consistent to everyone. Better to be feared than loved doesn't mean inspiring irrational fear. It means building a presence that cannot be easily exploited. The appearance of virtue remains useful in certain contexts, but it should never replace real competence. The calculated use of force also appears here, because the powerful person knows exactly when to speak and when to remain silent. They know when to advance and when to wait. They know when to reveal intentions and when to allow others to remain in doubt. And there is a profound reason for this. Mystery multiplies power. Uncertainty forces others to be cautious. When no one can predict your next steps, your options increase. And it is precisely at this point that all the previous teachings begin to connect, forming a unique structure of strength that few develop and even fewer manage to sustain. After observing the trajectory of those who build true strength, an inevitable conclusion begins to emerge. There is no magic secret. There is no hidden technique reserved for a privileged elite. There is only a set of principles that most know, but few have the courage to apply consistently. Machiavelli understood that power is not born from desires, but from preparation, and all solid preparation rests on foundations that withstand changing circumstances. The first of these foundations is to destroy comfort before it destroys you. Excessive comfort creates a dangerous illusion of security. It makes people believe that stability is permanent and that challenges can be postponed indefinitely. But reality never signs that contract. Sooner or later, difficulties arrive. And when they do, only those who have chosen voluntary discomfort possess the inner resources to face them. Virtù and fortuna go hand in hand precisely because fortune tends to favor those who are already prepared when opportunity or crisis arises. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, requires accepting that life does not reward intentions. It responds to the capacity to act. Those who learn to deliberately face challenges stop being victims of circumstances and begin to shape them with their own hands. This is the first step towards any lasting transformation. The second pillar consists of training the mind to govern emotions instead of serving them. The third requires treating the body as a strategic tool, not as the master of one's own existence. And the fourth multiplies all the others through intelligent unpredictability. When these elements work together, something powerful happens. The person ceases to be controlled by impulses, external pressures, or constant needs for validation. They begin to act with intention. They begin to choose their battles. They begin to understand that better to be feared than loved starts with the respect they earn from themselves. The calculated use of force ceases to be merely an external strategy and becomes a daily discipline. Constant adaptability becomes a way of life. The appearance of virtue may open doors, but true competence keeps those doors open. Loyal and personal armies cease to represent mere soldiers and begin to symbolize habits, values, and behaviors that obey the will instead of sabotaging it. Decisions based on real human nature replace comfortable illusions, and when all these pillars unite, a form of strength emerges that does not depend on applause, luck, or favorable circumstances. A silent force, difficult to break and even more difficult to master. And perhaps the most important question is not whether anyone can develop this force. The real question is what happens to those who choose to ignore it. Most people will spend their entire lives waiting to feel ready, waiting for more confidence, waiting for more motivation, waiting for the perfect moment that, in practice, never arrives. Meanwhile, the years go by, opportunities disappear, and what could have been an extraordinary life turns into a collection of carefully justified excuses. Machiavelli understood something few are willing to hear. Strength is not a gift given to the chosen few. Strength is taken, built, forged, conquered through repeated decisions when no one is watching. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, teaches that the world makes no distinction between those who had potential and those who achieved results. In the end, only actions remain. That's why so many people remain exactly where they were 5 years ago. They wait for inspiration, while others develop discipline. They wait for perfect conditions, while others learn to act in imperfect conditions. They talk about change, while others are silently building power. The end justifies the means when the goal is to overcome one's own weakness, because the most important battle has never been against the world. It has always been against the limited version of oneself. Now the choice rests with those who have watched this far. On one side are those who will finish this video and immediately return to the same distractions that consume their days. They will continue scrolling, seeking entertainment, hoping that something external will transform their lives. On the other side are those who will decide to sharpen their own blade, those who have understood that virtù and fortuna favor the prepared, who have understood the value of constant adaptability, who have accepted that decisions based on real human nature produce more powerful results than comfortable fantasies. So the question remains, which of the two paths will be chosen from today onwards? Which habit will be abandoned? Which challenge will be faced? Which fear will cease to control decisions? And most importantly, who will be in control from now on? Willpower or impulses? Write in the comments what was the most impactful idea from this video and what attitude will be put into practice today. This public commitment can be the first step towards real transformation. And if this content brought value, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue this journey. Because while many choose to remain asleep, a select few continue studying, evolving, and building a force that the world cannot break.